Hollywood Wheels is attached to Festivals of Speed, and it's got some amazing heavy metal. But let's take a look at this. This was the Geneva Motor Show Rolls-Royce, and take a look at the length and size of this beautiful limousine. The only leather, though, is in the driving compartment. For whatever reason, it's a sumptuous fabric in the back. Hollywood Wheels also selling this Alfa Romeo 4C. This is the company's first entry car back into the US since the 1990s. It's a mid-engine, carbon fiber intensive car. Take a look at the brakes on this. This 4C even rarer in that it has the carbon fiber package, so carbon fiber side mirrors and carbon fiber side vents. Here's a rare American sports car. It is a Curtiss Craft 500 built by Jim Mann Enterprises in Elkhart, Indiana. It's one of only 6 500S continuations built on Arlen Curtis and John Ward gigs, and it's got a supercharged 1953 Cadillac engine under the hood. Hollywood Wheels has a lot of interesting American cars like a Chevy. Here's a classic Hudson Hornet. This was low and wide, much lower and wider, and was very popular back in the NASCAR days of the 50s. Most folks know that Porsche built 911s and sports cars, and there's a lot of Porsches that we'll take a look at later here at Hollywood Wheels. But do you know that Porsche built a tractor? Here's a Porsche Diesel Junior. Really? Back in the late 1960s, the big three were involved in Trans Am racing. Ford took a version of the Mustang and made it a Boss 302, and here is one in grabber orange. Packard was once America's premier automotive maker, but in its last years, Studebaker took over, and this is what was often called a Packard Baker. It's a Studebaker with a Packard nose, and as you can see, there's some other Packard additions, such as the padded section here on the doors and the applique on these fins. Porsche currently builds a Targa, but this is the first one. It's a 1967 soft window Targa, known because the rear window was actually a soft clear plastic and not the glass that would get it later. And yes, that's a brushed stainless steel bar, and then the classic 911 interior. Hollywood Wheels has a lot of Porsches for sale, and those were on one night only. And as you can see, there's stock versions, there's customized versions, and then there's some real serious racing machines along with the 356. The Fiat 500 that we know and love now actually was a much smaller car back in the late 50s, and not missing a market in 1959, Fiat built the Jolly. This was a beach car with the little fringe top and the rattan seats. Many folks think that Corvette was the first fiberglass sports car, but actually a few others came around, including the classic automaker Kaiser, who built this little car, best known for doors that slid into the front fenders. Called the Kaiser Darren, this one was owned by Dutch Darren himself. Only 435 were ever made, and this one, as with all of them, was powered by an off-the-shelf 90 horsepower Willys engine. Do you want a Mercedes-Benz 280 SL? How about matching pairs? They were built for a father and daughter, and now they're up for auction. They match exactly except for the steering wheel hub. Hollywood Wheels has all sorts of Corvettes, both 60s and early 60s, and even some goodies for the kids. A beautiful silver 356, maybe going to a new home. Whizzer was a popular maker of motorized bicycles back in the day, but guess what? They only made one three-wheeler, and this is the prototype. The American Bantam was a rebodied British Austin 7 designed to try to get compact cars into American tastes. This one is the only 4-seat convertible apparently made that still exists today. 1953 together in Stuttgart, a Porsche 356 Prie, convertible and hardtop, and both cars sold as a pair. With a 1500cc flat 4 engine, these cars were not quick, but they were agile, and lightweight, simple interiors complement the pair.
Well, Prius are very rare, and here you have two Porsche Reds. You have the Cabriolet and the Coupe over here. Obviously, they're matching. They've been together in a collection for a long time, and the owner feels they should stay together, sort of the his and hers of the early Prie Porsches.
So what's your guess on these? What might they do as a pair?
I think these cars are going to fetch somewhere between $800,000 and $900,000.
Like I said, they're selling a lot of Porsches at the Amelia Island Select, but here's one that's got a hometown theme. This 1973 911 SRS was built at Brumos in Jacksonville, documented build by Peter Gregg, and it's got some intriguing modifications. It's got the deeper dish Fuchs alloys, it's got subtle fender flares in front, and almost turbo-like fender flares in back.
In '73 they couldn't import the RSs, so Peter Gregg, being the long arm of Porsche Racing, had the stuff shipped through the race division at Brumos, which he was the owner, and he said, well, if you won't bring me in some, I'll build them. So he built 6 cars for 6 special customers, and this is the most developed of the 6. This is literally his GT car that he won the 24 Hours of Daytona with. It is a wolf in sheep's clothing.
And inside it's all business black with classic Porsche 911 bucket seats. Does that name ring a bell? Actor and racer Paul Newman raced this car at Sebring in Florida in 1977.
What's the estimate on this? I hope
7 figures.
yes. $1 million?
One of the oldest and one of the newest cars at Hollywood Wheels is this 1904 Thomas Flyer Racer. Built from original equipment parts, it is a recreation, but take a look at this beautiful brass grille. Take a look at the straps that hold the hood. Take a look at the high, wide open driving position, and take a look at a chain drive. That's how the power got to the wheels. For Jacksonville.com, here at Hollywood Wheels, I'm Dan Scanlan.